Hello, welcome. This is Tara Lee, and we are live on YouTube, and I am here with my friend JR Tokin. What's up, JR?
What is up, everyone? How's it going, Tara?
Time to get smoking, I guess, huh?
Yes, definitely. We got things to talk about.
Things to talk about. Well, let me get chat pulled up here.
Oh yeah, I got
pull that out. Pop out chat. And if you're joining us today, make sure you have it on live chat and not top chat so you won't be missing some of the conversation. And also, if you're just jumping in, make sure you hit that thumbs up because that really helps us get our information out. And hey, if you got any questions, put them down in here in chat and we'll get them answered. Hopefully, we're going to be talking today about the Dude Grows show. And maybe talk with JR about what he's got going on in his grow, what he's got going on, catching up with that. I don't know where my co-host is. Mr. Drake is missing in action somewhere. So I don't know. He's maybe in the grow. He got tied up with his girls in there. Some ladies tied him up in the grow. Something like that. So let's get to smoking. I am going to be smoking on, let's see, what do I want? The sploosh. Let's go on the sploosh. This sploosh. Here, let's see.
nice.
Label. However the label looks. I think it's
Some local rosin.
Yeah, so this is Bubble Hash Rosin by the Kush family in Washington.
Nice.
Down at my dispensary. So we're going to go in on that today. What are you going to be smoking on today, JR?
I'm sticking with the flower. Right now I'm smoking on the Georgia apple pie. And it's pretty gluey, pretty gassy, really earthy. And one of the phenos has a little apple on the back end. The other pheno does not. So I'm kind of on my second round of testing between the number 2 that I picked and what ended up being number 3. So out of, I think I did 4, 2 and 3 were my favorites, and they are completely different in structure and stuff. So it's kind of a toss-up. I'm really having a hard time picking which one I like the most.
Cool. All right. Well, my timer just went off, so I'm going to go in on this dab here. The sploosh. Love the high on this one. And I am still dabbing on this dab unit that I got. And I love this. I can't believe how much I love this unit. This is the best portable device I've ever dabbed on. And I'm still using it as my daily dabber.
Who makes that one?
Aspire. And it's called the Dab rig right there. Aspire is the brand.
Huh. I haven't seen that one yet. It looks, kind of like well put together.
It is. It doesn't. So you know how the Puffco, the battery and everything goes down in the battery area and gets all gooey?
Yeah.
This literally, the battery area is right in there where nothing goes.
Wow, that's a trip.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's literally the best device.
That's nuts, man. The future of smoking cannabis is getting cool.
It is. It really is. It is. Welcome, Pebin River. How are you? Hello, Fly High. How are you? Welcome to the channel.
Hey, what's up, Fly High? Yeah, I'm still smoking out of a dirty beaker bong. That's my daily driver.
Oh well. That's all good. So we were going to be talking about the DGC Grow Cup that they got coming up. Let's talk about that. How many years have they been having that, JR?
They started in 2015, and it was at the Denver High Times Cannabis Cup. And they rented a booth, and they had Extractor Man come out with a pizza box, basically full of slabs. and they were giving out free dabs at their booth, and that was their first meetup for a DGC event. And then 2016, they had a real like submit your entries judging type cup. And that was in a little art studio in Denver, downtown Denver. And that was really awesome. And then after that, we moved to Cultivated Synergy and was running the events out of there, which was a really, really nice space. I think 2019 is when everything stopped. And so since then, the club never survived COVID. So right now, it's hard to find an good indoor venue that allows you to have a consumption event. So that's been tough. So
indoor consumption is really, really, really hard to find. It is super hard to find. There's lots of people trying to find those type of venues. Here you go. Just want to throw this out for you guys. This is the next date of the next cup. There you go.
Yeah, so the new event space is in LaPorte, which is right by Fort Collins. It's a little town. There's a little farm area out there, and there's a really nice, beautiful field, and you can rent the whole entire farm for the day, kind of like renting a vineyard or whatever. So we did that there last year, and there were over 300 people who showed up, and we had, little pop-up tents for all the vendors to come, and it was a great event. We had a really, really good time, and we're going to do it there again this year, and we're going to do a large tent just in case, because it is going to be June 3rd, but in Colorado at June 3rd, you never know what's going to happen. So we're going to do it under a tent this year, and there'll be vendor spaces, and there'll be judging booths. We're going to have entries again and all of that fun stuff.
Awesome. I am just putting out all of the links. So if you are here hanging out with us today, could you please share this link out today? Very important we get this information out to people so we can get everybody on this meetup. There's a lot of people that are in the Northwest 47 Discord that are talking about going to this meetup. So I think it's going to be a really cool event to go to if you're in that area or can make it.
Yeah, the fun thing about the event is it's not super complicated. It is a crowd judged event. So when you present your jar, there are some limiting factors in the way it's being judged. In that, like, there's going to be usually around 50 entries is what we kind of cap it at, between 40 and 50 entries. And so judging the high of each entry after about 20 in gets pretty tough. So what a lot of people really judge on, the first thing, they'll walk up, they'll look at the jar, and so it's bag appeal. Then they'll open the jar, they'll smell the jar, and then it's going to be a terp profile to the nose. Then they're going to get a glass 1, everyone gets one in the lighter, and then they get to hit the flower, and then there'll be the taste. So those basically are the 3 criterias that people are really judging on. And so it is blind in that we don't say what strain it is, by what breeder, or by any of that. It's just given a number. And each person who comes to the event gets tokens, and there's little voting cups or vessels in front of each entry, and you're allowed to drop your token into the one that you think is the best. And so at the end of the day, the 300 people smoke as much weed as they possibly can, and hopefully we come out with some kind of people's choice, I guess you would say.
So this is, they get 1 token to vote?
Last year, I think we had 3 or 5. In the past, we had done 5. And I think this year we are probably going to do 5.
Oh, cool. Cool. Now I want a dab cup.
Yeah, Scotty did a 710 cup there in Denver right before things were going down, and it was pretty epic. I did not make it to that event, but
I'd like to go to a dab cup.
yeah, I think you know, I think that's probably something that'll happen down the road once we get things going, swinging again.
I mean, these are just a few of the amazing hashes that I've been soaking up. Like, it's just some real quality that we've got finally.
Nice.
We got today. I've been smoking on. Let's see. We've got sour cherry belts. We have a cherry AK-47, blue sherbet. We got a jet fuel gelato.
Ooh, that was really good.
That's sploosh.
Yeah, the jet fuel gelato should be kind of gassy, eh?
And it's a nice hitter.
Yeah, it should be a heavy hitter.
Yeah, it's a nice hitter. I really like it.
Yeah, that G6 jet fuel is probably one of my top 10s. It's really good. Yeah, it's really good. It's pretty effective for pain. It's very heavy kind of thing.
Cool.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. I'm still kind of into the the gassy stuff.
I should hit that. Let's hit that right now. I'll hit the cherry AK-47. Let's do it.
Yeah, I picked up some new genetics I'm pretty excited about that I'm going to be testing out.
Nice. What are you going to be testing?
I got the blue slushies from the Georgia apple pie project that Brad's been doing over at Raw. He crossed that one with blue cookies. And so that one should be interesting. And I've also got the Jokers, which is from Compound Genetics. And I'll be testing that. And I have one more coming. Cherry Runts is coming from Tiki Madman. And so I'll be testing that out. Wow, that is nice. I like that consistency too. It's a lot easier to deal with, huh?
Yeah. I like the pull and snap though too.
Yeah.
That pull and snap. Some of this product of these were actually pull and snap, but they've sat in the warm air for too long.
Yeah.
They've been exposed to warm and cool temperatures. They turn to kind of this butter consistency. This butter consistency is more like the consistency where it's like kind of off gas, so it's not as hard on or volatile on your lungs at first. So it's kind of a smoother hit, I think, if you're looking for that.
Interesting.
It's kind of so like there's another thing that people are talking about out there, and they're calling fresh pressed. And what fresh pressed is it's fresh frozen product that's been freshly pressed and not cold cured. That's another thing that's out there that people aren't understanding. They're calling it fresh pressed.
It's getting processed as bubble?
Yeah, so everything's always processed as bubble. Okay. So
fresh frozen.
What it means it's come off of the press and they just freshly pressed it off of the press. And then they call it fresh press because they just pressed it off the press.
Okay.
Or you have cold cure, which is what this is, and it's sat and cured in a cold environment. And so it's going to have that, it's a curing technique on it that is like a smoother technique.
Is that
one of the new terminologies?
I was going to say, is that science or is that marketing?
No, this is the new terminology for people that are pressing rosin.
Okay.
It's fresh pressed. It doesn't mean that they took and picked it off of the plant and put it in the press and pressed it fresh. That's not what that means.
Okay.
People don't understand the terminology, so I kind of want to go over that.
Yeah, because I'm used to fresh frozen.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's still fresh frozen. It still can be fresh frozen. It's just that it was freshly pressed off of a press.
Okay, and not put into
and not jarred and sat and cured for a while.
Okay.
Hasn't been cured.
So
That's
it's a lot.
It's all this.
So a lot of the volatile terpenes are still there.
Yeah.
All right.
And
Gotcha.
there are ones that are going to be amazing like that. And then there are some that get smoother, like this one right here. Do I even have any of this one left? Let's see if I have, but I don't think I even have anything left in there. Nope, it's empty. Okay, so I just had the last dab of this the other day, and this was Guapzilla, I think it's called, Guapzilla, something like that. It actually got smoother as it sat in the room and got smoother. But oh my God, it was gassy. This one was really gassy.
Yeah, I love that shit.
Well, look who we have here. My long lost co-host decided to show up to the party.
I made it. I'm late to the party. Much love, everyone. Buddy? It's been one of those days, everyone. So I'm gonna get a dab in and just listen in a little here.
Welcome to the show. How are you, buddy? No, we're just talking about freshly pressed and dabbing. Drake, if you didn't know, Drake has been actually working a lot of material. He's working with someone, and he's been the mixer. He's been the processor.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he's been processing some amazing hash. So when I get to go to Canada, I'm gonna have some amazing hash to smoke. You should come up there, JR. You should come up to that Unicorn Cup in August.
Yeah, you gotta tell me about that. Dude's been wanting me to come up.
Oh yeah, you guys should come to that cup in August.
How far away from Vancouver is it?
It's a bit away from Vancouver.
Like 7 hours, give or take, but my place is right in the middle.
So 7 hours heading inward or upward?
Yeah, it always sounds weird to me, but more east. Heading east.
Yeah, east.
Heading east.
All right. So you go through like the Okanagan Valley,
direction.
Vernon, Kelowna area.
You would come right by me to go up there. You would come right by my house.
Really? So flying out of Seattle, where would I go?
You could fly into Drake, and Drake could pick you up.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Closest airport Canada-wise is Kelowna, and then that's like about a 4 hour, give or take. How you're cruising, 4 hour drive, speed limit wise. And then it's just a super nice location. It's if anyone's familiar, it's really close to the Shambhala location, like just up the road, and very similar vibes, but just much more cannabis eccentric and themed, and tons of education, and just a fucking great time.
Interesting. I would love to get details about that. Is it a camping event, or is it like?
Yeah, it's called the Unicorn Cup, and we actually did a little show on it, and we talked about it. And went on. Drake, I was supposed to go to it last year. Drake went over and helped with the stage. Marcus, Bubble Man, he went and spoke at it. They had Josh and Kelly were there, of course. They spoke at it. They had several other speakers that were there. I couldn't go just because of the whole coronavirus thing
yeah.
So, but this year I'm planning on going in August. So, like, come hell or high water, I'm fucking going.
Yeah, definitely. Make sure you keep me in the loop. That'd be cool.
Yeah, so it's in August.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's
so it's
good.
in August. So yeah, definitely. Drake's I gotta have that dab. I hear I opened the AK-47 and I got distracted by Drake coming in. Let's have a dab and let's have a smoke. JR, what else do you want to talk about?
Well, I talk a little bit about the cannabis sessions that we're doing over on Cannabis' YouTube channel. We've been having some really good guests come in lately. We've had.
When are you doing those? When are you doing them?
Those are getting recorded live on Sundays, but you have to be a Cannabis app member to watch the live. And then you can interact with chat and all that fun stuff. But then it gets released the following Friday. So new
On
episodes are
Fridays.
coming out.
Okay.
Yeah, so new episodes are coming out on Fridays on YouTube. And this week we have Homegrown Natural Wonders, OD Diesel, and his son Mushmouth, who is a rosin producer, who went to Ego Clash and got to compete at Ego Clash.
Oh shit, I was at Ego Clash. I went there too. It was cool.
Oh, cool.
Awesome. I didn't get to compete, but I got to go upstairs and hang out with them. It was freaking awesome.
That is awesome. That's
Yeah,
huge.
it was awesome. Yeah. And I got to try some of the hash afterwards. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we've got them coming on the show. It's going to be released Friday. And then this week shows that's out right now is Dr. Colin Bell talking about microbes.
Yeah, I like Colin. Colin's awesome.
And we're kind of going into the academic side of how he kind of came across the microbe, and also breeding and selecting microbes for function and efficacy. And so I'd never really realized that was a thing, that you could take IMOs, basically get IMO samples. They got them from all over the world. And then they found particular microbes that were doing the things that they were wanting to do. And then they just started making them bigger, better, stronger, faster by breeding them and selecting them, which I'm sure sounds, maybe easy, but, with given how small they are and all that stuff, and selecting and breeding plants is hard. I couldn't imagine trying to select and breed a microbe, But the cool thing is that in the interview, he talks about, the idea of the whole process was to mitigate all the damage that's been done to our soils through the current agricultural practices. And so the whole idea of it was to stem, I think, what is the phosphorus releases that happen in the water systems that cause the algae blooms and stuff like that then choke off the oxygen that kills the ecosystem and blah, 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 blah. So all this pesticide is just running off and being dumped into our waterways, our drinking water and all that stuff. And so he's trying to make the idea with the mammoth microbes was to make phosphorus available through interactions with microbes rather and having to use a lot less, so you're not just completely inundating the soil with fertilizer.
Yeah, of course.
And so then not only that, not only are you not using as much fertilizer, you're kind of rebuilding a natural living type soil that used to be there for eons, in some cases,
And depending on the environment and where it was, was done on those practices, or what was like the practices that were done on that particular piece of land before. Sometimes things like that, those specific microbes like phosphorus solubilizing ones, for instance, can be very impactful because your area may already be saturated with ones that aren't necessarily plant available, but then you just get in there with, you put the army in and they do the work and they make it so that's available to the plant, and there you go. So certain people will be able to utilize that in just their environment without additional resources too. So there's a place for all of it, certainly.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that they were trying to come up with a solution and ended up with a commercially viable product. And he kind of transitions that interview into starting a cannabis business.
Very cool. Very awesome. JR, I forgot, you're on a computer, right?
I'm on my
iPhone. On your phone. You're on the phone. So you can swipe over to see everyone, just so you know. I didn't know if I told you that, by the way.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Wait. What up?
I forget to tell people.
That was a really fascinating interview for me. I really loved being able to talk about the business side of things, because I think a lot of people have dreams and aspirations of starting a business in the cannabis industry. And there's a lot of things that you have to be mindful of, you know, because there's always those little forks in the road, like Colin says. And if you don't really pay attention to where those forks are going, they can really lead you down, you know, areas that you don't want to be in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as a business and as an entrepreneur, I used to be one. Obviously, I was used to have a hair salon, and in fashion, you know, if you're not up on the latest fashion updates and the latest products, you know, you're going to be left by the wayside. So in the cannabis industry, things are changing so fast. You know, it's so like every day there's things going on. And if you're in the business right now, in just I'm going to say just in Washington State, because Washington State I know more about because I live here. They're constantly changing some of the rules and regulations even on that. You know, the store owners or the farmer, the grower is going to have to know different things. The processor, it seems like they're just changing those daily. I don't know how businesses keep up with it. I really don't. I have no idea.
Yeah, compliance is absolutely insane. I mean, you need at least one to a team of people just to handle compliance and tagging and metric and all that. You know, there's so much to it now. It's for the actual people that are not picks and shovels, but that are actually cultivating. You know, it's tough because the price of the product is screaming down. They usually have gotten themselves into some kind of lending situation or money up front
Well,
situation.
anytime we all know when there's too many pieces in the pie, everybody's got their hands in the pie. There's not enough for everybody. So someone's got to go.
Yeah, and then you have you know, then you have the taxation side of it. So, you know, kind of between the three of those, it's really killing the legal industry for sure. I think there was an article out today or yesterday talking about in High Times about Oregon's situation, about how we have like it's like the weakest economic position we've been in since 2016 for legal cannabis in Oregon. And they're saying it's because the supply continues to, you know, kind of outpace the demand because we can't really do anything out of our borders. So everything in Oregon that's produced has to be consumed in Oregon.
Yep.
Which is a recipe.
No ag product today has to work that way. No ag.
No.
Not a single ag. Not anything. Not anything has to abide by those rules, do they?
Not that I'm aware of. And the thing is
oh, maybe milk. I bet milk does.
Yeah, I wonder.
Be interesting.
But yeah, so I mean, people are getting disenfranchised with dispensary model anyways as consumers. You're paying just about the same or more prices that you would pay from your local grower, and your quality is typically not as good. So I think the article talks a lot about supply and demand, but there's also not a lot of enforcement. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of people are growing weed. Like people who just used to grow like a garden in their back, whatever, are now throwing in a couple cannabis plants. Or people are setting up in their homes, or their buddies got to set up, and people share and they do their thing. And so they don't talk about the impact of that in the article at all. And I think that has a huge impact on it because there's no enforcement as far as the police go. The mentality of law enforcement is they pretty much don't give a fuck. If you're not a huge cartel cranking out a bunch of illegal money, they pretty much don't have the resources to fuck with you. And so there's a lot of weed going around that's, you know, that's really good that maybe is not on the commercial, you know, on the dispensary shelves, I guess you might say.
You can see that here in Canada for sure. So
yeah, your LPs are basically not able to put out a product that the consumer wants to buy. Is that correct?
Investor
You know what I
money,
mean?
product quality, and then they
Yeah,
shut down. And it's like there's been so like I had to drive past one for a couple seasons here, just going to one of the farms that I was helping over at Buddy Cam's place there. And yeah, I think it was Aurora, actually, one of their facilities, and they're shutting down all over the place here. But yeah, massive facility, like 455 acres, and they got like multiple greenhouses and all these permits. They got like millions of dollars in fencing with cameras every 100 feet pretty well. It's just cameras like looking up at the sky too. I'm like, are you looking for aliens? I don't know what the fuck they're doing with them. They had to pay for the cameras to have them there. And then like the one season we outgrew them. The next season we're like, oh, they got us beat this time. Except all their stuff got destroyed because they left it in the ground too late. And then it got like, we don't have a really good season for it here, and they weren't light dep. And it was just, I don't know who was in charge, but there was, yeah. And if that's what's going on all over the place, my goodness.
Yeah, that's nuts. And I heard that they're kind of pinching on your guys' medical system to try to keep the plant count numbers down. Is that true? Is that what I'm hearing?
So yes, I've heard a couple things. I'm not sure where I personally stand, but I've got a couple other people's opinions on it that I'll speak to. And anyone that has, I believe, over a 40 gram a day permit, keeping in mind here in Canada with our federal permits like ACMPR, well, they've changed it again right now, the name. But either way, with the permit that we get, we have to reach out to Health Canada, have a family doctor, or just a specific doctor or RN, a registered nurse, that signs off for you. And then you can get a permit between 1 gram a day and 99 grams a day. And then they base your plant count off of those. So with your highest count, the 99 or 99 gram a day consumption, you can get like 450 or so indoor and like 180-ish outdoor, and then no restrictions for the most parts because it's your medicine, it's your right to grow. So whatever your residence is, even if you're renting or so on and so forth, you're good to go on it. As long as you have that permit, it's legal for you to do so. Now, anyone that has over, I believe, a 40 gram a day permit, because that's the individual that I was speaking with most recently, they are now getting letters that saying, you're between whatever and 100 times the normal allotted amount for the Canadian citizen to have per day, because due to our regulations and laws, even though they made it so that the system, the medicinal system was in place, they really frowned upon physicians prescribing more than like 2 to 3 grams per day. So that's of flour, and that's generally what you'll see, and the most that the average doctor would do, specifically if you're working with a family doctor, because most family doctors honestly aren't on board. So a lot of Canadians have to go through and find a specific doctor that's kind of specialized in this area, that's on board with the system, that's usually taking some monetary value overall for signing papers and stuff. It's usually pretty modest, but they're definitely like, there's a reason they're jeopardizing in a sense their career, because again, like to be a doctor, you gotta spend a lot of time and money, so you don't really blame them. It's like, of course they believe in cannabis, they want to help people, but if it's like just by giving out permits that someone might need, for instance, 2 or 3 grams of flour sounds good. I have a very, very large consumption need. I got ADHD out the yin and yang. I've battered my body, and it's just one of those things. So I use like 3 grams of concentrate a day plus, and then edibles, so on and so forth. So it's more like I need 30 grams at least roughly a day per se of flour to be able to convert it into the concentrates and the edibles that I utilize throughout the day just to get through every single day. So like for certain people, it makes a lot of sense to have higher numbers. And we had someone that won a court case, high precedence, for the 99 gram a day for just utilizing edibles and so on and so forth. But anyone that has over the 40 gram a day permits now has got a letter that's saying, hey, we're looking into you. You have this high amount, and we're wanting more information. We want to know why. Well, they don't have a right to ask you or your doctor what your medical conditions are or what the reasoning behind said condition is. So there's not too much worry there. So for instance, friend of mine that I was speaking with, he went through just a company, whatever company name, you get the RN, there's someone they have that's, a high enough level to give you your permit. It's all legal, but they pretty much walk you through like, oh, so we hear you can't sleep at night, you got back pain. And then you like, based on how knowledgeable you are and how much you want, you can kind of get your different permit. And sometimes there's tiered pricing. It's a bit of a shit shoot. I was personally lucky enough to go through my family doctor, knows I'm an advocate, activist, been doing it for a long time, utilizing it, don't want the, educated on the other means of medication for what I have. And she was totally on board. And we started pretty low, well, high for her, 10 gram a day, and then have worked up. And it's a super great relationship. And because of that, she's been able to help other people because she's now more open-minded because she was already kind of on board. And yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Really cool conversations with the family doctor. Love it. And, chose to go that route instead of just paying for a higher permit, which would have been easier for me plant count wise, but just for wanting to help educate someone that was interested that can then help others and so on and so forth. But yes, what the attorneys for said company that Buddy used to reach out with to get the permit said was essentially like, don't worry about it at all. There's no grounds to stand on here. If they go hard enough to try and make people appear in court, we've got you covered. You're not even going to have to appear, and just like, don't even worry about it. Talk to you next year when you renew. Because like with these permits, you have to go through and get a renewal every year. And again, family doctor, you're not paying for it. I didn't pay for permits. I didn't pay for I didn't pay for her to fill out the sheet for medicine. But these other doctors and RNs and stuff, they are charging a fee for that. But again, risking their license. So it's like this little bit of this, like you understand. So as long as it's not like crazy expensive, prohibitively expensive, then whatever. It's an access point, kind of like dispensaries. It doesn't always have the best stuff, but at least someone can walk into a store and get some meds instead of just not having the option, right? Some people don't have a homie down the street or whatever. So they are definitely trying to crack down. I guarantee it's monetary because they're like, we're getting screwed because they just have so many people that are investing so large and like just a lot of people in positions that are responsible for maintaining the whole facility that likely haven't had the past experience. And you get a lot of like closet and small tent and like little like me, a little 10 by 10 grower that talked his way into like running a massive facility because like the homie's been picking up off him for years and they actually have money and they get a facility going, and then like a couple harvests down the road, everything's just complete garbage because like maintaining a small area versus maintaining a facility, Jesus, employees and just vectors. And so rambles over, but
yeah, we've got a similar system here in Oregon, but our plant, we don't get to go by daily usage per gram. We just get a flat plant count. And they give you 6 in flower and 18 or 24 in veg. And it's the same thing. You can either have your family doctor sign you up, or you have to go to a clinic. And like you said, the clinic is a place where they do all the paperwork, get you state ready, have the doctor sign off on everything. And there's their fee, which last time I checked was like $150.
Mm-hmm.
Then you pay your state fee, and that depends. Oregon has kind of a sliding scale depending on your income. So like for me, I'm on Social Security disability, so I don't have to pay as much. I think if you don't have anything like that, you have to pay $200 to the state every year. And so for me, it's like $50 to the state every year. And so you're allowed to have 2 medical growers in the same house facility. So I can grow for myself and my wife can grow for herself. So that allows the 2 of us to have 12 in flower and whatever the math is in veg.
Can you be caregivers as well, additionally, for a person each? Do you know? Because we can here. That's one of the other things too. Like, not to get everyone all gung ho moving to Canada because we're prohibitively priced in all manners. Like, good luck finding a place in anyways, you can have up to 4 permits per tax parcel, just based off same thing. You and another person who's on the house or a rental. Anyone that lives at the suite, there can be 2 permits at that one property, and then you each have the ability to be a caregiver for someone else. And again, that's why in Canada they're really trying to lock down, because 1 person or 2 people can have 1,200 plus plants legally at any residence in Canada just by utilizing those permits. It's just then you have to have, of course, your own and then two other people to sign for it.
Yeah, pre-rec, we were allowed to have 4 patients per grower. So you could grow up to 4 medical patients per grower. Now I'm not sure what the parameters are. I know it still exists. And I do know that you have to be, or your plant count numbers depend on whether you're in an incorporated city type area or if you're out in a non-incorporated area. And I also know as soon as you do that, you have to report to metric. So everything has to go through the metric system. Everything has to be weighed, documented, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end of the day, you don't have any avenues to recover any of your expenses because in Oregon, you're not allowed as a medical provider to bring your medicine to a medical dispensary like you used to be able to prior to rec. So rec destroyed Oregon's cannabis legal market. Sounds weird to say, but the legal structure that they set up destroyed the cannabis industry in Oregon. If they would have kept it medical and allowed smaller batch producers to have a product that's being tested and is safe for consumption, and then they're being compensated for that, that system would have worked really, really well in the state of Oregon.
Now you said 18 plants, correct? That was the
per person. That's in veg per person, and I think it might be 20. They, like you said, they keep flipping the rules.
Yep.
A few years ago, we could have unlimited veg.
See, that's where that makes more sense too, because like especially like they're going to start admitting overall that this is definitely medicine for a lot of separate individuals for different manners, and they don't have a great grasp on the different compounds and what's really doing what. So they expect us as patients to sift through and find our own medicine. It's pretty crazy, ludicrous, one would say, to make us also have plant restrictions and all these guides when what's 400 plants in a 10 by 10 room compared to 3 plants outdoors full term.
Right.
Like it's just such a, it's just one of those things where for the patients, it's just so, prohibitive again. Like, it's just one of those things.
Yeah. So for me, for me, I would be able to service my needs better if I could grow in 3-gallon pots and have a multitude of plants rather than single plants in 10-gallon pots. So each 4x4 has 4 10-gallon pots. And I could totally utilize that space way more efficiently and in a faster way if I could use more plants.
Of course. And like it tapers, right? You go down to 3 gallons, 1 gallon, solo cups, fill it, right, no matter what, see a green style. And if you're trying to like, okay, I've got what I need. I can keep my mums and veg for the medicine that works for me, but I need something else, something different. Now you can look through a couple hundred plants compared to 4 instead of like how many years it's going to end. Like when we're speaking like people like yourself and everything that are like, we're genuinely using this every single day to try and bring just, the slight increase in daily life. It's pretty insulting to have such crazy restrictions when they all come down to monetary values. If it was like something that was honest for whatever reason, sure, but it all comes down to just bullshit, and it's really tough, especially sitting in a position that's a lot more fortunate, right, to be able to have the option to, even if you don't have a family doctor, spend a few bucks and get a pretty crazy plant count and be able to work with it. So hopefully that just keeps passing on and trickling on. But even like I feel restricted, which is ridiculous, right? I mean, the shoe never fits, right? But it's just one of those things where they should just be, let everyone rock and roll, like generally everything else. Let us do our thing and, set their systems up in a little bit more of a standard method that's not going to be so counterproductive and costing them money so that they have to start coming at us when we're just doing our thing honestly, trying to make out good quality, medicine.
So now, as medical providers, do you have any access to retail at all?
For the most part, no, but there's, you hear whispers in the wind of all sorts of things. Like if you're like with that plant count, and if you have enough money, you can have a pretty big facility with a lot of good sized plants and be pulling some insane numbers, of course, more than one could potentially need for their own medicinal. And people have mentioned if they had test results for excess flower, that potentially there was some scooping from the back doors from, larger LPs. So if there is testing for large batches, there is the ability to maybe have things funneled in and get some form of payment. But I've never seen anything firsthand. And again, like I said, it's more like whispers in the wind, but there's been lots of talks. And with this bridging industry, I mean, like we started the same thing where even in some of the, hard to say, like legal but illegal at the time, there was like this really weird time where they weren't even necessarily gray market because they were kind of like backed but not, but you could still go in there as like a producer, as a farmer, as just a medical producer and bring your gear in and just go just standard, like, you know, Wild West days, go in there, and if it was good enough and it fit the right price and it was good enough quality, there you go. Some of the places required testing, some of the places, lots of the places didn't. And then even now it's like that with the gray market places that are all riddled throughout Canada, but all the legal complete places are very secluded. There's you know, quite specific routes that have to be taken. But again, just because it's transitioned so far and some of them are so big and have just a little bit more wiggle room than others, there's talks of lots of gaps, you know, even in their round fails, they have to destroy it. So you only have to destroy however much product on camera, and that was everything. Whichever way other product sneaks out the back, and you know, so I mean, there's just like there's so much going on that sounds shisty.
Yeah, we have that situation here with the metric system and people moving stuff in and out of metrics, and then on top of that, I don't know, it's really, it gets so complicated when you try to wrap your head around all that, because we got wholesalers here. So we had in Oregon, there are actual wholesalers that can acquire flower in ways, you know, whatever ways. And so, you know, wholesalers are able to move with these legal dispensaries and stuff through the licensing systems. And so, you know, some of those opportunities exist as well.
Some fungus among us. Cheers.
Yeah.
Nice.
So Tara, do you guys have medical in Washington?
Fungus medical? No.
No, cannabis medical.
Hey, we just passed pretty much everything, 2.5 of everything except for peyote in BC on the end of January. So that's we'll see how that goes. I'm all for all that, right? Just remove all the prohibition and expand the education and reduce the incarceration and amount of people that pass away. And yeah, it seems to be the trend of places that do so. So we'll see how it goes in my home province here.
Yeah, I hope it goes well. We did the same thing in Oregon, and it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. I can have mushrooms. They grow around me everywhere. If I walk into my nephew's field and I pick one out of the ground, it's a felony. It's decriminalized for possession, but it's not decriminalized for everything.
Yep.
And so, of course, now they have the psilocybin therapeutics coming online, and now there's talk of whether they should use pharmaceutical psilocybin or they should use natural psilocybin. And so you can just see maybe these evolutionary wheels spinning where it's like this is just going to get handed over to big business the same way cannabis did for the peyote community, for the cactus community, for the fungi community. You just got to be careful with those legalization structures. They dangle this carrot of, hey, we're not going to throw you in jail anymore, and we're going to give you the freedom to have a little bit. But if you produce it and share it with your friends, or if you sell it, God forbid you sell it, or you're gonna go to jail. You're gonna go to jail. So I mean, it's you got to be careful, what you vote for. I mean, we're pushing obviously for total decriminalization, absolute total decriminalization of all of it. But that road is going to be long and hard. But we're fighting. I mean, we're all fighting, I think, for the same cause in the end of the day.
So someone asked of this cold water extraction. No, this is a Drake extraction. Drake told me how to do this.
And I just learned it from someone else. Just tea. just putting it in tea. It's water soluble, so you just gotta soak your fungi in tea for a couple minutes. I usually like to do 5, give it a little stir throughout the process and remove the bodies, add your tea bag, add some local honey if you got it, and rock and roll. What'd you do, Tara? What'd you put in yours?
I didn't put any honey in it, but I did put lemon in it. So I measured out 1 gram of a couple different types of mushrooms that I have. And then I put it in hot water, and I put it in like a cup so that I know like how much I can drink, so you can figure out like how many ounces, right? So this is really about 8 ounces. I know a cup if you want like half a gram, right? So it's easy to figure that out. That's why I do it that way. And it also doesn't make your stomach flip floppy. It doesn't, and it seems like to me, it also makes it smoother as a microdose. It doesn't come in those waves. But I also believe that that's also because I'm adding in microdosing of also medicinal mushrooms on a daily. I intake medicinal mushrooms, meaning like cordyceps and lion's mane and reishi and chaga, different stuff like that I've been taking on a regular. I also believe those help the other mushrooms work better throughout your body. I like to do like a mixture or a blend of mushrooms. I find that works better for me and for my gut. So what I do is I measure out 1 gram and then a cup of hot water, and I pour it in there and I let them sit for a bit. And then after they've sat for a bit, I put lemon in there, and then I just put a tea bag in there. And the tea bag is what really made that color. It's like passion fruit or something by Toss. That's like my favorite tea. And then I just sip on it, and that's just kind of how I microdose.
That's
And then
nice.
over here
That's
in
kind of
this
cool.
cup, I have another cup over here in this cup. This cup, I have my hot cocoa from Dragonfly Earth Medicine, which has all the medicinal mushrooms in it. So I'm double fisting here. So yeah, that's what I like to take. I know a lot of people do microdose with capsules. I know that some people take them that way, and I have a girlfriend that does it that way, and I have a friend that also has been known to open the capsule and put it in her tea. So there's lots of different ways.
Yeah, it's getting cool. I mean, we used to just like Drake said, we would just take raw mushrooms out of the field and put them in water and then steep them for about 8 to 10 minutes. And then I would add honey and Kool-Aid, like packets of Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
I like grape or cherry Kool-Aid, so I would have grape or cherry tea.
There you go.
And I used to put them in New York. You remember the New York seltzer bottles, the soda, the New York.
Oh my God, I used to love the New York seltzer. Oh my God, raspberry was my favorite. What was your favorite?
So my parents were addicted to those things, and we had them everywhere.
I love.
So I would fill them up with mushroom tea, and I would sell them at parties for $5 a piece.
Oh no, shit! Oh my God!
And that's how I would make money to get my weed for the night and everything else I needed.
That's badass. I love that story. That's cool. I love it. I love it. Mushroom tea. I think, it's great for people who.
And when you steep them fresh out of the field, you see all the little worms and all the little different things that come out, and you kind of get the idea of why you should probably strain it and maybe not eat them fresh out of the field. But I still ate them fresh out of the field.
No, that's before the worms get to them. You don't eat them after the worms get to them. Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, just you pick them out of the field, take them home, and you boil them, you're going to see more than you maybe expected.
I guess that's why mine are grown in a sterile environment.
Yeah. I actually got a chance to have some ovioids, which are northern, and they're out of the ground, so I get to, experience some something out of the earth.
Well, I would like to go find them. I have not been able to find them. Like I've never went out in our natural environment and have found psychedelic mushrooms yet. And
Well,
I've only found a few mushrooms, and I went out with a few friends that I found. I'm like, Eric, we went out and found turkey tail. And I wouldn't even have saw that turkey tail had Eric not been with me. Like, I had no idea. Like, I would have walked right over it. Like, yeah, crazy.
You know where Long Beach, Washington is? It's on the coast.
Yeah.
I think it's every November, Chef Sebastian Croce does a mushroom foraging event.
I was gonna go to that and I didn't go. I know.
Well,
Yeah.
Next year.
Next
Sounds
year
like
I'm
you're doing
going.
it.
I'm going next year.
I had said I was gonna go, but I was annoyed that he wouldn't tell me where he was gonna have it at, so I didn't want to go. I would literally, that's what made me mad, because I have anxiety about going places and I have to check places out, and he wouldn't tell me.
Right.
And I'm like, well, I'm not going then. Fuck you.
Yeah, they always wait like to the last second to tell you exactly when and where. It's to how the fungi. That's how a lot of the fungi community kind of do things.
You know what? I have anxiety. I need to check these places out. There's medical things that I like, and I have to have certain things available to me
right
at my age.
Sure.
No. If you can't tell me, that's bullshit.
Well,
I honestly think it's because they can't confirm it and pin it down, because they actually don't have their shit together, is what I think. But whatever.
Well, all things.
We'll just leave it at that.
All things are possible. All things are possible.
Shall we talk about tea?
Yeah, but no, it's a good event, and if you do get a chance to go, it's in Long Beach, so you'll have a good time.
Maybe we should have tea time every hour or so. Every few days.
Hey, I actually I gotta get hopping. So, I'm glad that I even made it on Holy Smokes. It's been chaotic, but thanks for giving me the call and the message, Tara. I was like, holy smokes, that is today and right now. Oh no.
Yeah, apparently I can get remind my co-host too.
Oops. That one was definitely on me. 100% was preoccupied. So I'll give Tara the tea later. But yeah, no, it was great to chat, JR, and always to see you, Tara, and everyone out there. Please like, share, subscribe. Make sure you're on live chat, not top chat, so you ain't getting filtered out. And we appreciate all of you for being there, no matter when you tune in, if it's live or if it's after. But yeah, appreciate you all. Much love. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. And who knows, maybe we'll see you sooner than later. Tara's getting inspired again. I'm ready to rock when I'm actually here. Holy smokes. But hell, we'll all chat soon.
We'll catch you later.
Sooner.
See you later.
Cheers.
Bye.
Cheers.
Hey, Jason. So Jason's saying about that static tech in the thing. So that machine is something that they're using for when they're making bubble hash. They're actually not using it as dry sift that I know of, Jason. So if they are using it as dry sift, I haven't heard that. I think that's the extraction thing that they're using to process the bubble after it comes out. So maybe I'm wrong, but Jason, I'll check that out afterwards.
So they're statically removing the gland heads and then washing them?
No. So what so we've been on to this static tech thing I showed earlier. I don't know if I should be talking. Okay, so on my Instagram, I have this big speaker that I put inside a box, and then I put different types of plastic over the top, and I played with different types of texture. And then I have this electrical static wand that you can hold, and you hold in one hand, and then you hold that I was having my husband hold it and play around with it so I could take the picture. And we were literally taking and we were statically removing the crap, the junk, like the dust and the debris out there. And we were able to do different things with it depending on how much static you built up and what the degree of the bouncing of the heads are. And there's all this kind of stuff. So there's sound that goes into it, vibrational sound, and then also static. But that machine that Jason was just talking about, there's a machine that actually is a big, they used to use it for like dry sifting flour. There's these big, It's a big machine that after they, so when they take flour, when they make flour, flour is made from wheat, and they have to grind down the heads of the wheat to make flour. Well, in this flour, they sieve it. And so they also they catch the size of the flour. So it actually sieves in these big things, and flour actually shakes out of there. So that's like actually flour will sieve out of that shaker thing that you were showing there, Jason. So they're also combining that, and they've been able to seal it and make gasket seals and been able to put water through there and be able to collect and sieve using that as your bubble bag collection, kind of like, rather than having to have a single bubble bag hold. It's like a constant running thing. They're like really expensive. They use them at Whistler Tech. They use them at different areas. Yeah.
Wow, because I've seen that static tech back in the day when Bubble Man would show it with the CD case.
Yeah. Well, see, okay, so everybody thinks that you should be able to take flour. I have only a small jar of flour because I don't smoke flour, but you should take this flour, and everybody thinks that you should be able to shake it and get all those trichomes off. It doesn't work like that. You literally have to like do this and bust the fuck out of it, like bust the fuck out of it to get all the trichomes off of those buds. If you want the most amount of return, right?
Right.
So when you're doing that, picture you're taking we'll say something round, like a round ball that has basically honey on it, right? A round sticky ball, and you're rubbing it in dust and leaves.
Yeah.
And you're just dusting it all up. You're sitting here and you're dusting it. You're taking a sticky ball and you're putting dust all over it.
Yeah.
And then you think that you're just gonna go and blow that off. That dust don't come off that. That's why you have to wash it. That's why washing it is the most effective way and the cleanest way and all that right now to do it. Now, they're talking about the static sift and being able to blow dry that off. And so, like, tell me you get honey on something and tell me you can blow that shit off or vacuum it off. You can't.
Yeah.
It's just impossible. So it's never going to be clean or your most effective way as of right now. Now, hey, in the future, they might come up with something new and I don't know it. You know, there's all new shit all the time. So got any questions there, Jason? You're saying wrong link. Okay, Jason said a wrong link that I looked at. Okay, well, I'll look at it later then after we go off live, and we'll find out if I'm not for sure about this static thing. And maybe there's more to this static thing that I'm not seeing. But that's the gist of it. Anyways, if you take a sticky ball and you rub it all around in dust, it's kind of hard to get sticky off. And a sticky, you know, our trichomes are sticky. So they're always coated with dust. I don't know how you get that shit off. And that's why
and so then
water actually kind of goes around the outside of that, and then nothing can kind of stick to it, because then nothing sticks to anything because it's cold and wet.
Yeah, I'm loving all that science. It's cool. It's hard to keep track of, you know. It really is.
Oh, but if you are talking about a different thing, I will check it out and we'll look at it and we'll check it out. Definitely, I'm definitely interested. So let me know. Tell me what to search for and I'll search it. So JR Tokin, let me share the final link today about the Duke Grow Show. We're going to definitely have more information coming up. And when do those tickets go on sale? Did we even say that? I don't.
March 1st. If you're a Patreon member, you can have access to the tickets right now. If you are not a Patreon member, then they'll be available March 1st, and there'll be tables available to some folks. So get a hold of, go on to dogrows.com and there'll be information there, and also dgccup.com. I think it might even be DGC Cup 2000. No, it's dgccup.com. And we'll be posting up information and all that good stuff as things kind of develop.
And we'll put the link up too after we go off the air. We can put it under the comments if you want to go back in, and we'll put that under the comments for you guys to find that. And also, as it gets closer, we'll definitely be sharing that more, so you guys can head on over there and get tickets if you want. I think there's going to be a lot of guys that are talking about going to it, so I think it might be a pretty fun event. I wish it wasn't in the middle of my growing season. I would maybe consider it, but it's right in the middle of my growing season. So I don't.
Just a weekend. It's just one weekend.
Yeah, but I would drive because I don't want to fly, and then it would take longer than a weekend. And yeah, that.
Yeah, driving to Colorado from where you are would be a jaunt.
We did it before in our camper. Yeah, and we stayed at the Rocky Mountain Forest, National Forest. It was beautiful. And there was elk bugling all around us. It was amazing. Great time.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was great. Great time. Beautiful place. Yeah. But I would definitely recommend, if you guys are in the area, you can make it to that. Definitely should hang out with the cannabis community. I think it's about building everybody up, about supporting one another. Super important. JR, everybody get over to watch JR, his interviews that he's been releasing on Fridays. So out for the public on Fridays. You can go check him out on the YouTube channel. What's your YouTube channel? Is it Cannabis?
Yep, Cannabis.
Okay. And then you have your own too, right? You have your own YouTube channel and Cannabis, right?
Yeah, I have my YouTube channel that I've been doing, I think, since 2015. And it's kind of hard to find. It's J.R. Space Token. But everything I do is age restricted, so it's not in any kind of algorithms at all. So, I mean, if you don't know, you pretty much won't find me.
Yeah, that restriction's really annoying, isn't it?
It is. It's annoying, but it's allowed. After I got my channel deleted, I thought it was worth not getting my channel deleted. And so I've been up, for a while now. So.
Yeah.
It sucks. You don't get the exposure, which is kind of, a discrimination thing for us in our community, but you don't get the exposure that you would if you were not so age restricted.
Yeah, very true. Very true. All right. Well, any final things you can think of before we close the show today?
All I got to say is growers love.
Yes. Awesome. And we want you growing out there. We don't care how you grow. We don't care if you're growing in salts. We don't care if you're growing natural, whatever. We just want you growing. Growers love to y'all out there. Hope you all can find some time to grow, because man, growing just teaches you so much about yourself and so many things. And I think it's definitely an amazing passion to have.
It's fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Till the next live. We'll see ya. Peace and love.